actually goes really well with what we're talking about being feminized and, how men are just effeminate in general, and go piggybacking off how a man would even accept the stay-at-home dad stuff. But I titled this when I posted it up. I thought I hit send. It says, modern men are malnourished, the nutrient deficiencies killing your drive. And I wanted to make this one on very specific stuff because what we see to man up and all this stuff is like, go get after it, go do this, without taking into consideration you are in a biological machine. Like, your brain is you, but your machine is like a car. It's a meat sack that actually needs nutrients. You can't overcome through pure, willpower, your feeling of being tired, or your sore, achy muscles that take forever to recover, or, the low energy levels that you have. You're crashing in the afternoon, all this. Like, these are nutrient deficiencies, and we have to solve these so that the machine is working as it should. And I have it written out like this. Your body is screaming for help and you can't even hear it. That brain fog that won't lift, the afternoon energy crash that hits like a freight train, that libido that's gone missing like it entered the witness protection program. The workouts don't hit like they used to, do they? It's not normal, and it's not just getting older. And it sure as hell is not in your head, all in your head. You're nutritionally bankrupt, operating on a biological deficit that would make the national debt look manageable. And it's bleeding into every goddamn area of your life like an arterial spray. The ancestral feast versus your sad modern diet, guys. And our ancestors ate like kings compared to the chemical shitstorm most guys call food today. The average hunter-gatherer consumed 3 to 4 times more nutrients than you do. They ate organs packed with vitamins, fresh plants harvested at peak nutrition, animals that lived on natural diets, seasonal foods with soil that actually contain minerals instead of just pesticide residue. Now look at your pathetic food landscape. Grocery store shelves packed with colorful boxes containing beige food, vegetables grown in depleted soil, picked weeks before ripening, and shipped thousands of miles away. Meat from animals so sick, they need constant antibiotics just to survive until slaughter. You're trying to build a high-performance machine using materials from the fucking dollar store. Good luck with that. The top nutrient deficiencies that are gutting your manhood. This is what I have this one sectioned out as. This isn't some abstract nutrition lecture. These deficiencies are destroying your performance every single day, like termites silently eating away at your foundation. And the first one I have it is magnesium, boys. This is the master mineral you're bleeding out daily. Over 80% of men are deficient in magnesium. The mineral involved in over 600 cellular processes. Every time you crush a workout, slam a coffee, or deal with stress. So basically every goddamn day, you're depleting it faster than you're replacing it. What happens when you're running low? You get muscle cramps, insomnia, anxiety, poor recovery, low testosterone. It's like trying to run your car without motor oil. Everything grinds and overheats. Modern farming has stripped magnesium from the soil. Modern food processing removes what little remains. And modern stress depletes whatever you manage to consume. It's a perfect storm of deficiency deeper than the Marinara fucking trench. Mariana. I said that marinara shit before too. I read that in the comments. The difference between a man crushing life and a man being crushed by it can be as simple as adequate magnesium levels. But you're over there popping pre-workout instead of fixing your foundation. Okay, and then I have vitamin D, the next big one. And if you don't know about this one yet, you should, because it was one of the most widely talked about ones when it came to the COVID pandemic. You're walking around with rickets and you don't even know it. Our ancestors spent their days outside in the sun. You spend years under fluorescent lights that make prison look inviting. The result? Epidemic vitamin D deficiency so severe that Victorian-era diseases are making a comeback. Over 70% of American men are deficient in the hormone. Yes, it's actually a hormone that controls everything from testosterone production to immune function to mood regulation. Low vitamin D means low testosterone, period. It means compromised immunity. So you're catching every office cold like a fucking kindergartner. It means depression creeping in like a fog. It means soft bones and weak muscles no matter how much you lift. And the mainstream advice to wear sunscreen every minute you're outdoors is making it worse. You're being told to block the very thing that created human life on this planet. Pure madness dressed up as health advice. Then the next one I have is zinc, the mineral that separates the men from the boys. Zinc is to men what water is to plants. It's absolutely fucking essential. It's critical for testosterone production, sperm quality, immune function, protein synthesis, and cognitive function. You're losing zinc through sweat, stress, and sex. Meanwhile, your diet of processed garbage isn't replacing it. And the result? Plummeting test levels that takes your energy, drive, and mood down with it. Studies show that correcting zinc deficiency alone can boost tests by up to 250% in some men. Okay, that's not a fucking typo. Look these up. Yet most guys are walking around with levels so low they might as well be running on fumes. The foods highest in zinc are oysters, red meat, organ meats. You know, these are exactly the ones that modern nutritional wisdom tells you to avoid, ironically enough. What a convenient coincidence that the foods men need most are the ones demonized by mainstream nutrition. The next big one, guys, omega-3 fatty acids. This one's for your brain, and it's starving. Your brain is actually 60% fat. The quality of that fat determines whether you're operating with a supercomputer or a calculator with dying batteries. Our ancestors had an omega-6 to omega-3 ratio about 1:1. Today's average ratio, 16:1 or worse. This inflammatory nightmare is like trying to run a high-performance software on corrupted hardware. The result is cognitive decline, mood disorders, and inflammation that makes your body feel like it's rusting from the inside out. That brain fog that makes you read that same email 4 times, those mood swings that make you wonder if you're losing it, that's your brain starving for the building blocks it needs to function. Meanwhile, you're dumping in processed seed oils on your body and then treat it like toxic waste. You're effectively poisoning the command center of your entire system and wondering why execution is poor in your life. Okay, the next one, vitamin K2. Well, we hardly hear about this one at all. This is the missing link that keeps you soft. Never heard of it because you're not alone. Most people never talk about it. This might be the most important nutrient that nobody knows about. K2 directs calcium where to go in your body. Without him, calcium floats around and deposits in your arteries, causing heart disease. Hello. Instead of strengthening your bones and your teeth. Our ancestors got plenty from organ meats and fermented foods. You get almost none from your sterilized modern diet. The result? You get soft bones, hardened arteries, and a cardiovascular system that's aging decades faster than it should. This deficiency is like having a construction crew with plenty of materials but no foreman. Resources get dumped in all the wrong places, creating a structural disaster. And the mainstream nutrition advice making men weaker. This biggest joke is that the nutrition advice you've been fed is making all of this way worse. You know, the famed food pyramid in America. You have avoid red meat, yet it's one of the most nutrient-dense foods on the planet, packed with zinc, iron, B vitamins, and complete proteins. Then you have stay out of the sun, and then pop vitamin D pills that barely work compared to the real thing. You know, eat lean protein while removing the nutrient-rich fats that your hormones need to function. Then they tell you to load up on grains, you know, industrial products that spike your insulin, block mineral absorption, and deliver minimal nutrition. You might as well eat fucking cardboard. Then you got vegetable oils, and they say they're heart healthy. The biggest nutritional scam in history, pushing inflammatory omega-6 fats that wreck your brain and body. It's like taking car advice from someone who's never changed their oil and wonders why they need a new engine every year. The modern nutritional guidelines weren't designed to make you thrive. They were designed to be easy to follow, profitable to produce, and shelf stable. Your actual health was a distant afterthought. That's the brutal truth. And then I have this section, the hidden signs you're nutritionally bankrupt. So how do you know if this is you? Look for the warning signals that your body is desperate for real nutrition. I have some bullet points here. One is afternoon energy crashes that coffee cannot fix. That's one sign. Workouts that leave you destroyed instead of energized. Okay, being sore is good. Recovery should come quickly after. But if you feel destroyed and burned out, you have a recovery issue. Sleep that doesn't refresh you no matter how many hours you get. Okay, libido that's nowhere near what it used to be or what it should be for your age. Mood swings that make you question your mental stability. Cravings that feel uncontrollable. Recovery that takes days instead of hours. And focus that wanders like a toddler in a toy store. And lastly, injuries that keep happening and won't fully heal. If you're nodding along to several of these, you're not broken, you're malnourished. And you're trying to fill a leaking bucket. You understand? You're attempting home renovation without buying materials and expecting championship performance, guys, on a little league diet. This stuff is so fucking crucial. No amount of willpower will overcome this. So how to stop nutritionally castrating yourself. Okay. Eat like your great grandfather. And I have another set of points here with some recommendations. Again, not nutritional advice. I'm not a doctor. I have to officially tell you that. Okay. And we're not talking about your grandfather. He was already eating processed shit. Your great grandfather who ate a food that died or was picked days before consumption, not manufactured months or years before. All right. So we're talking red meat from properly raised animals. If you have local farms or you know of local farmers, go see them, please. Eggs from chickens that actually saw daylight. Okay, so free range, cage free, that kind of shit. Pasture, grazing, open grazing. Organ meats once a week. So that means liver, heart, kidneys, etc. Fish with faces, not fingers. Vegetables that require actual preparation, not just opening the fucking package. Fruits as seasonal treats, guys, not daily sugar bombs. So getting your daily fix of fruits isn't healthy. You eat them as they are in season. If you have a favorite fruit, go Google when it's in season for the area that you live in and only eat it as a treat. These are nature's candy. You're not meant to live on candy every single day. And fermented foods that contain more bacteria than your entire apartment. That was a good joke, but fermented bacteria is what you actually really need for healthy gut microbiomes. And your gut is connected to your brain way more than you think, actually to your whole body. We're just barely starting to learn that. Number 2, I have supplement strategically, not stupidly. You can't supplement your way out of a trash diet, period. Okay, supplements aren't meant to replace you eating like dog shit. But even the best modern diet has gaps that do need filling. So magnesium, from what I've read, you want to take 300 to 400 milligrams daily, glycinate. Okay, vitamin D3, they say 5,000 IUs daily, always with K2. I have mine that are in a bottle. It's like a dropper. You could just drop a few under your tongue. Zinc, 15 to 30 milligrams daily. You want to balance that with copper. And omega-3s, you want 2 to 3 grams of combined EPA/DHA daily from a source that doesn't reek like low tide. K2, MK7 form, if you could find it like that. It's kind of easy on Amazon. It's all over the place. 100 to 200 milligrams daily, or micrograms, excuse me. And a high quality B complex that contains active forms. And these aren't optional if you want to perform your peak. They're essential as charging your phone, guys. I cannot stress how important getting your vitamins and minerals in line for how you feel and function. And then we have thirdly, fixing your environment, not just your plate. Okay, nutrients don't exist in a vacuum. You have to get some morning sunlight without glasses or sunscreen for 10 to 30 minutes if you can, first dawn, okay? Or first light, excuse me. Filter your water, guys. The stuff from your tap is carrying more baggage than your ex, okay? That shit's poison. If you see what your pipes look like on the interior, you will never drink tap water again. Buy bottled water. Yes, it's in plastic containers. Great if you could find it in glass, but infinitely better than the nasty shit in the tap water that they don't even filter properly. Okay, reduce plastic exposure that's feminizing you with every sip and bite. Stop heating food in plastic that's so fucking bad for you. It melts in your food. Okay, manage stress that's burning through nutrients faster than a teenager goes through data. And on the plastic shit, also do not cook your meals in all that non-stick bullshit, that Teflon and all that stuff. It's horrible for you. Okay, improve sleep. That's when your body actually puts the nutrients to work. Is in sleep you quote recover and build muscles. Not in the gym, not when you're actively working. That's when you're breaking things down. And time your meals to work with your biology, not against it. So a simple one like this is doing the intermittent fasting stuff. Okay, some guys feel like when they eat, they slow down and they get slow on the thought processes and they want to nap and all that. If that's the case, then don't eat during the peak where you need to function. Some guys feel really sharp working on an empty stomach. Others might need a quick snack here and there to power them through the day. Just depends on your biology specifically. For track and test, don't guess any of this shit, okay? Stop shooting in the dark with your health. Get some blood work done beyond the joke of a panel your doctors usually recommend. Track your metrics to see actual improvement. How's your energy, your sleep, your recovery, and your performance? Document what works for your body, not that worked for some fucking influencer, okay? And adjust based on results, not theory or trends. So if you can't afford, these go pretty cheap. These are these Garmin watches that track absolutely everything from sleep to heart rate to recovery to VO2 max to HRV heart rates, all that stuff. It's nice to have data to look back on and see just how well recovered you are, how well you slept, how hard you worked out, the calories you burned based on your heart rate, your biological markers, okay? You can get them for as low on Amazon as like $80 for the basic one. It syncs with your phone. Next, I have the hard truth about nutritional redemption. It's the final portion here. I'm not going to lie. Unfucking your nutrition takes some serious work. It really does. It's inconvenient in a world designed for convenient destruction. It's often expensive in the short term because you have to bulk buy, especially all these supplements. But that's far cheaper than the medical bills coming if you don't change. And here's the reality. You can outwork nutritional deficiencies. You can't. You can't out hustle biochemistry, and you can't motivate yourself out of malnourishment. Your body is a biological system that runs on nutrients, not inspirational quotes or willpower. Okay. The foundation of everything you want: energy, drive, mental clarity, physical performance, emotional stability, sexual prowess, all of that shit is built on the nutrients you provide your body. You're trying to build a skyscraper on sand and wondering why things keep collapsing. And modern men are facing challenges our ancestors never fucking imagined. The least we can do is fuel ourselves to fight ahead. Okay. Because showing up on the battlefield of modern life, nutritionally depleted, isn't brave. It's just stupid. And our ancestors thrived on nutrient-dense foods that kept them strong, vital, and clear-headed. They didn't have your advantages in many areas, but they crushed you in nutrition. It's time to reclaim the birthright and stop accepting the slow motion collapse of your health as, quote, normal aging, as they tell us. You know, the choice is yours, and it's a lot simpler to make than they all make it out to be. Either continue with the nutritional castration that modern food delivers, or rebuild yourself from the inside out with what your body actually needs. One path leads to progressively diminishing returns on every effort you make. The other unlocks potential you didn't know you had left. And no one's coming to save you from this one. The food industry profits from your ignorance. The medical industry profits from your decline. And the only one with everything to gain from your nutritional redemption is you. And I'll leave it to you guys with this one, because I know food is a big issue for a lot of men today. So as I could ask a simple question: what's the worst thing you ate in the last day? And I guarantee you some of you are going to tell me absolute fucking slop.
So, in case anyone didn't know, Uline, I think it's Uline, owns Dove. They also own a huge part of the food industry, and I think they have a hand in medications too. And that's Uline, just one company with a hand in a bunch of different companies.
But look inward, because these are choices that we make. So fuck the companies. Why do you go into the store and get the bad shit that's killing you slowly? You see, dead silent, bro. How many people got in here? Dead fucking silent. Most of the people in here bought some garbage, some fucking absolute slop, and ate it in the last week, guaranteed. Why? So we talk about like, oh, we being manly men. But
Discipline.
go ahead.
Honestly, man, I think it comes down to just lack of discipline. Like sometimes you look at the sugar kicks and you just want to put them in your face, and you just gotta like bitch slap yourself back into like the plan. Remind yourself what the plan was. Get up tomorrow morning, go for a run, fatty.
Go on, Charles. You were saying something too.
Also watch out for protein shakes, or the whey protein. They also have seed oils too, so you gotta watch out for it. Brands doesn't carry that stuff or brands.
Yeah, but we're talking natural food. If you're already like protein shakes, come on, bro, eat a fucking steak. Stop relying on the industry. If it wasn't produced, like if it was produced, it's shit. If it didn't come from an animal or a tree or a fucking bush or the dirt, it's garbage. Why did your ancestors rely on protein shakes? Again, you're supplementing something you could have gotten from food. A nice steak or a chicken breast or some fucking fish or whatever could have gotten you the same shit. A nice piece of liver could have delivered exactly the nutrients you needed. We don't need protein shakes. That's just the industry selling you on this dog shit. We don't even need as much protein intake per pound of body weight that they tell you should have to ideally build muscle, because the protein shake industry is making a fucking killing on selling you garbage powder. That's also false. Again, it's all propaganda from the top down. So the question comes back to the individual. If we're going to have conversations, boys, about like traditional masculinity, being strong, we're all becoming super fucking effeminate. There's all these fucking beer guts out here and bitch tits and all. Why? I'm just specific for the men in the room here. Why do you eat like dog shit, or why do you let yourself down and eat a bad food here and there? Why? For what?
Discipline.
Lack of discipline doesn't explain it all, bro. Lack of discipline doesn't explain it all. Okay, cool. Everybody's lacks discipline here and there, but you're cognizant of this. Like, hey, bro, I shouldn't eat that. That's bad. You could just say, well, I lack discipline, so I'll eat that. Okay, but it's deeper than that. Why the fuck don't you respect yourself and eat all the bad shit constantly? Enough to look fat. Enough. If you could jiggle fucking parts of your body, you're fucking up already. You're losing. Yeah, you're losing already. So why though? Why? Where does this stem from? The self-hate. Why do you make it harder on yourself? Why do you choose the bad? Is it convenient sometimes? Oh, I'm at work and I couldn't cook food and I couldn't do this, so I'll just go get a McDonald's, or I'll eat a fucking Snickers, or I'll do this. Really? That's how much self-respect?
Yeah, I was just going to say that. I think it's just a lack of acknowledging that you have self-respect. and
Mm.
you should acknowledge that you should respect yourself. And then by doing that, you should adhere to your discipline.
Mm-hmm.
But people aren't aware that they should be doing that, and they forget. It's easy to forget.
So, a question then: if it's so easy to forget, and then you self-sabotage, should you have the right to even be discussing about the ills of masculinity? If you're literally
No.
partaking in it? Oh, okay, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I'm agreeing with you.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Isn't it ironic that the men, and not just here, but just in general, that men are complaining like things are getting worse. We're losing our testosterone. Sperm counts are dropping. We're getting weaker. Men today look like shit. But then literally partaking in the things that are actually doing that to you on a day-to-day basis. Isn't that ironic? It's so fucking ironic to me. It's different if you could say some shit like, I didn't know, bro. Like, truly, if you get a I don't know once in life about this. I didn't know how poisonous all this shit was. No one ever taught me nutrition. I didn't know. Cool story. Now, once you know, what are you going to do about it? That's the question.
The whole accountability.
Yeah.
It's about accountability at that point.
Mm-hmm. Because saying shit out loud now, after you know what's going on in the ills of society, but you're at the checkout counter buying Snickers, you're the same hypocritical fuck that the rest of the people are. That will disparage, like, I hate society today, partakes in every single part of it that they hate. What makes no sense, bro? If you're going to stand your ground on your ideals and believe in what the fuck you're saying, why do you do the exact degenerate shit otherwise? Like, this is the accountability that men are lacking today, or whatever it is, it stems from self-hate. And you just, I don't know, the nihilism that we see in some of the, let's just say, quote unquote, black pillars, or I don't know, have men been beaten down to such an extent that they now have feminine ways of thinking? They're ruled by their emotions. What the fuck? What is it? Because I don't understand. Once you are illuminated, red pilled, and let's just say health and wellness of men and how your masculinity is literally being threatened on a day-to-day basis. And then you're still at the checkout aisle going like, let me get that fucking packaged food there. That's literally making my life worse. And then let me just complain about, fuck, man, things are so shit. This food is poison. Eats the poison. Isn't that crazy that we do that? Dead silent, dude. You see, fuck, it's dead silent. And you see that shit?
You got me, man. Gotta say, you got me.
You good? Okay. No, for me personally, my model's always been if it's made by man, if it's made by God, it's good. But I'm changing my diet drastically. I've been vegan for a long time. I got brainwashed the whole 9 yards. And I'm learning now the importance. Honestly, what really opened my eyes to it was when I saw the WHO like really wanting to stop people eating meat. And I was like, oh, so that means that's good for you then. Because anything they implement, you want to do the opposite. Yeah, I haven't brought it up yet because I never I don't wear it on my chest and I don't fucking announce it with a blowhorn. I'm just not like that. Honestly, my friends bring it more than anyone else. But I've been like this way for a decade now. And so it's part of my character. It's part of so many things. I was a plant-based chef before COVID. That was my niche thing. That was my business model, my identity. So much of that is tied to that. It's only up until recently that I've decided to slowly incorporate, animal protein back into my diet. But I also don't want to just go to a random spot and have, a cow or a chicken that was pumped with antibiotics and hormones and eat that shit. So I got to make sure it's clean, or like you said, farm to table. This past week, I just started eating eggs again. Like, again,
Nice.
I haven't had it in over a decade. So I'm doing one at a time and just seeing how my body adjusts. But yeah, food is a big part of my life because it was a big part of my character. I was a personal chef and really focused on health. And I totally got brainwashed by all the vegan shit. Now, when I say vegan, I don't mean corn, wheat, soy, and Beyond products and lab bullshit. I'm talking about like actual made by God from the earth, potato, whole foods.
Yeah.
That's why I don't like that term vegan too much because it implies all the Beyond bullshit. I've known that shit is poison for years, made by fucking science. And it only doubled that down when I saw Bill Gates promoting that and selling that. I was like, oh, it's definitely poison. Okay. Yeah. The guy who wants to, eliminate a good portion of the population is endorsing this. Not good. Common sense kicked in.
Yeah.
But it's funny. Actually, this week I was planning to just go out to dinner by myself and order a steak and just have it really well done. And I haven't had it in over a decade. So
medium rare,
I
fucker.
gotta
Have the blood in there.
I'm just gonna
Well
go bite
done.
the
Fuck
bug.
that. Yeah, just bite that fucker. Let it
Well,
moo in your mouth.
I got it used to it. No, you're right. You're right. But cut me a little slack. Cut me a little slack. But I could totally see the health benefits of eating like, low carb, more animal protein, more veg.
I was hardcore
But
vegan
also
too
just
before. Yeah.
oh, really?
Yeah, swear to God. I used to so I kind of yo-yoed between extremes. So I was eating part of that shit American diet, and I was like, you know what? Let me cleanse my body and go vegan. I went hardcore vegan. I was meal prepping, nothing but vegan foods. Like you said, plant. I had a rainbow platter in front of me, all real food, real plants. Yeah, and it was going fine for the first couple of months. Obviously, coming off American slop diet, I felt great. I felt energized, and then like I started running into those issues like bloating. And I didn't do this like half-assed. Like I researched everything. I had a perfect diet laid out. I got all my macros but it was very heavy on the carbs because that's just naturally how the vegan diet is. So I started to fatten up like a fucking animal at slaughter. Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
And
that's
and
how
then
it goes.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep. So I yo-yoed from that after I started feeling worse and worse and worse. And that was the heaviest I ever weighed too, by the way. I got up to like 220 and I felt slow and I was like, I can't do this anymore. I'm eating way too much fucking, it wasn't even rice. It was, quinoa. Dude, the amount of quinoa along with all my other shit that I was eating, all the veggies and the sweet potatoes that were baked and, all this shit was just, I was like, okay, switch. Then I saw people talking about the carnivore diet and eating straight meat. And I was like, wow, I'm just attracted to extremes. So I go into the carnivore diet. I do that for 6 months, pure steak, pure fucking steak, no chicken, no nothing. It was just steak every single day. Well, I have enough money to buy those 4-pack of steaks at Costco, and I was eating 2 steaks a day. Dude, my fucking grocery bill jumped up dramatically. I think I was spending at that time $900 a month, and I was fortunate enough that I could do it with nothing but steak because that's a very expensive way to eat. It's not, feasible for most people. You would have to do ground beef and mix in some chicken and other cheaper meats to make it work. But I managed to do 6 months of pure carnivore, and I shredded all the fucking fat off my body. I was ripped. I had energy for days. I was eating only twice a day instead of 6 times a day like I used to. I never had any like mental fog. I didn't need coffee. I had energy. It was sustained, no hunger pangs. And I felt full, satiated the entire time. I didn't feel like I was on a quote diet, constantly hungry. I hated the vegan diet for that exact problem, that after eating, I'd get hungry again very soon after, especially when you're super active. So you have to constantly eat. And on the carnivore diet, I did. So once I got off the carnivore diet, I tell the story all the time. I had raspberries are one of my favorite fruits, if not all-time favorite. And just those little square packs you get of raspberries, the first time I bit into them, I was so carb and insulin sensitive that I felt electricity in my veins from eating a handful of raspberries. That's what it felt like. It was the most incredible feeling. I'm like, wow, dude, we could eat way less fruits, carbs in general than we think after being so carb sensitive and insulin sensitive. And I had like the 6th gear is missing. That's what I hate about the carnivore diet. You miss because your muscles need glycogen. Okay, so that's what the vegan diet gets you plenty of. All those carbs, you have some strength there. That extra last gear is gone. You feel a bit more flat on the carnivore diet. But once I ate those raspberries, my best diet ever was literally meat and fruits. Meat and fruits strategically planned around workouts. That was it, bro. That's the most natural diet ever. I would eat like a handful of fruits before the gym and a little bit after to replenish, whatever is rebuilding, and meat after that, meat. And I felt like a fucking machine. And that was the best I ever felt, the best I ever looked. And it was an extremely simple diet. And I only had to go to the meat section and then the fruit section. They're usually right by each other in the store. And 98% of the rest of the store is all fucking slop. And so I went through every extreme. And now I have a bit more balanced diet. I added a little bit more leafy greens just for the fiber and to get healthier stool and, volume to keep me full while I mess around with the protein levels when I'm bulking or cutting. But that's really all it is. It's like meat, a little bit of fruits here, and then some veggies for volume and to feel more satiated, and done. It's super doable. Back to basics, dude. I don't do any of this. I don't even recommend being vegan or carnivore or all that, any of that crazy shit. long term. Those are usually diets you do to like detox, I guess, from a really bad diet you're coming off of. And it's temporary, and then go to somewhere more in the middle, more relaxed. Yeah.
Yeah, that's where I'm at now. I'm leaning towards more coming back to a more natural diet, less processed carbs, less shit. Yeah, I've spent hours reading nutrition labels, ingredient lists, and just realizing how half of this shit is just like Whole Foods is like a regular grocery store with makeup. Like, and you really have to sift through and do the research. And if it's a fucking paragraph or you can't pronounce it, put this shit back.
Yeah.
You know, half of this shit is thrown in the lab, and just not designed for our health. I mean, otherwise they wouldn't have a business model. If everyone was healthy, then, you know, doctors wouldn't have reoccurring customers. The difference with that industry is that we give them their blind trust, and we're like, oh, you went to school for 8, 12 years. You know everything. You know, I leave it to you. And no, that's not saying every doctor's evil, but you know, the business model won't sustain if everyone's happy and healthy.
And you know it's slopped by advertisements. You know it's slopped by advertisements because do they ever advertise fucking carrots or potatoes? Do they ever advertise beef? No, bro. They have to advertise the slop they have maximum profits from. Like, imagine what a fucking toaster strudel gets them in profit. Like, when you break it down, what it costs to manufacture a toaster strudel versus what they're selling for is far higher than a fucking carrot. Of course, they're going to try to sell you on that.
Eating the toaster strudel, the same person who's eating that shit is going to, as soon as you bring up fruit, they're going to like, well, there's sugar in fruit. Well, fuck you. You're eating fucking Snickers and talk about the fat and avocado and the sugar in my apple. Like, I'd rather that. Okay. You know.
Just wanted to make a point. It goes back to what Bo was saying before. It kind of comes down to that personal responsibility and like self-respect, you know, like, sure. Yeah. Pick out whatever food you want, but like, you got to know like that those calories in at some point got to be calories out, you know, what's it going to cost you? You know, how many times on the treadmill, you know, that kind of thing. You can kind of do like a stopgap approach to it too.
Oh, absolutely.